back from the dead, back from the dead, back from the dead, back from the dead.
What's up guys, Twitchy here, and welcome to part 9 in the ARK Server Manager videos. Today we're going over Dino settings. If you don't need Dino settings, feel free to jump forward or back in the videos as you need, but if you do need Dino settings, hold on tight because we're going to get into them. Alright guys, let's get into the Dino settings. So, the first two of course become important a little bit depending on the size of your servers. Max tamed dinos on the server, 4,000, it's a lot of dinos to have tamed. But if you have a ton of people on your server and you guys are trying to do massive armies and stuff like that, then maybe, just maybe, that would be an issue. Honestly, I have never seen that number capped on any server I've ever hosted. But if you get to the point where nobody else can tame any more dinos, you're going to need to increase that. The next one is max tamed dinos per tribe. This one I do increase normally because whenever I host a server personally, everybody on the server is in the same tribe. So we might have 10 people on. It doesn't take very long for 10 people in the same tribe to hit out 40 dinos. Underneath that, you're just basically looking at damage, resistance, food drain, torpor drain, and taming interval. And that is all based on wild and tamed dinos. You can adjust those as you want. If you want to make the torpor drain a lot faster, if you want to make torpor drain a lot slower on, your dinos, then you can do that. I don't mess with a whole lot of those though, to be honest with you. I mean, by the time you get a pretty high level dino and you get it maxed out, like food drain's not a problem really. Next section after that is about the saddles. I haven't done a whole lot with platform saddles, but if you guys have questions about the platform saddles and the saddle structure costs and stuff like that, I can dig a little deeper into it. I've never changed those on a server that I've ran, and I've never had anyone request them be changed. So again, maybe it's something you might want, might be something that doesn't matter to you. Food drain, stamina drain, health recovery, and harvesting damage. Out of those, I would say harvesting damage you may want to tick up a little bit. Harvesting damage will help you get maybe a little bit more resources and help you get through things a little bit faster. Turret damage, of course, how much do you want that turret to do? Like how much damage? And that turrets, I do believe, counts as your bullets and as your plant species X's and stuff. So if you want to do massive damage with turrets, crank it up. And if you don't worry about it. Allow raid dino feeding, that's for the Titan. Basically, if you want to be able to keep a Titan tamed on your server indefinitely, then you have to change that. Otherwise, the Titan will eventually starve and die. There's just nothing really you can do about it otherwise. All right, let's keep going. The allow flyer stuff, you guys can kind of figure that one out. It's really easy. Do you want them to be able to fly in caves? Do you want them to be able to recover stamina when you're standing on their back? Do you want to allow speed leveling in those? I mean, those are all pretty well self-explanatory. A couple of them that you guys might not really have seen before. Allow multiple attached C4. You used to be able to strap a bunch of C4 on flyers, send them into somebody's base, and blow it up. They prevented that due to PvP exploits, and then disable force ground flyers. Basically, you got to a point where everybody was then coming in with flyers, and you couldn't get them knocked down. They were just too fast and too much to deal with, so they put that setting in. The dino decay, honestly, I always turn dino decay off. I don't want my dinos to decay like that. But if you got a lot of people and you got a lot of turnover on the server, you may want to do that. And then if they're not on the server for 2 weeks or whatever, their dinos just die automatically. Again, that's up to you guys and how you want to run that. The one that's going to get you, and you can see I've checked all of these just to refamiliarize myself with it, is the dino customizations. Unless you're wanting to turn off a specific dinosaur or a creature from spawning and stuff, I would leave these alone. It's all pretty balanced, and the things that are there to annoy you are there just to annoy you. It's part of the game. But if you do want to turn them off, then you can do that in this section. So moving on down, these are all your level stat multipliers. This is kind of where Wildcard did a bunch of balancing. Back in the day, these were probably all ones, you know what I mean? But they've all kind of gone lower and higher as time is, well, not really higher. They've all gone pretty much lower as time's gone on. If you want to take out the old nerf, like the way old nerf that happened like back in 2016, 2017, you can change any of the decimal values to ones in this section, and that would accomplish taking out that nerf, all right? Mutagen levels and mutagen boost, level boost is basically just what your dino does when you breed them and they get a mutation. Again, you can play with those things, but most of us aren't going that deep into this. We're just trying to host a better than vanilla server, you know what I mean, for our friends, or a straight vanilla server for our friends. Or maybe we're doing a modded server, but the mods then handle this stuff and we don't have to worry about these pieces. Now, an important one though is this next section, which is the dino breeding multipliers. You're looking at basically how long does it take for breeding to happen, how long does it take in between breeding, how long does it take for your eggs to hatch or your babies to mature, and how fast do your babies eat food. You may, want to mess with these. I always adjusted these in my servers because I didn't want to sit around and wait for a baby for 8 hours, you know what I mean? And I was the only one in my particular area playing at the particular time that I was. So that sections might be important for you if you don't want to lose your babies and stuff like that. Of course, now they've got the other creatures in that act as a nanny, so it may not be as bad. You can disable imprinting altogether, and you can allow your dino to be imprinted or cuddled by anyone. Those are two important ones. If you want anyone in your tribe to be able to imprint that dino, you got to make sure that you got that setting. Then you have your scales. So your imprinting stat scale, your imprinting amount scale. Do you want it to be large? Do you want it to be small? Do you want to have your interval be very quick, or do you want it to take longer? Do you want a grace period that's really long or very short? Then you have your cuddle loss imprint, basically. So if you are past that grace time, how much loss is it going to incur? And your max imprint level. I wouldn't mess with the max imprint limit at all if I were you, because if you do, you're going to end up having some people hurt. If you mess with these settings at all and you make it to where a dino can imprint over 101, it's going to automatically kill that creature. So I really wouldn't mess with that if I were you. But again, you can experiment with it, whatever you want to experiment on. But yeah, that's dino settings in a nutshell. If you guys have any specific questions, please leave them in the comments below. I hope you found this at least somewhat informative and helpful, and I hope to see you on the next one.